Hello, Cozy Detectives, and welcome to the Blanket Fort Files. I'm Joy,
And I'm Larissa.
and we're here to report on all things comfy and cozy.
Yay!
Woohoo! Finally figured out the recording. Cozy Detectives. Joy has become a problem today.
What do you mean a problem?
Well,
Please.
my
It's always
internet.
me.
Uh,
That's my job is the
I
internet problems.
I know it is such a thing. I literally have, if you hear me scramble and panic, I literally have my notes on the TV and then we're recording on my phone because the internet is being crazy. But we did it. We figured it out. Larissa, very smart, was like, "What if you try to pull it up on the TV?" And I was like, "Yes." So,
We are nothing if not scrappy and resourceful. So,
yes, I
we
love
gotta do what
when
we gotta do.
that's such a good word, scrappy. That's like one of my favorites. I feel like
Love
that's from
it.
like I feel like that's said in so many different things. But yeah, I love the scrappy word. But anyway, how's it going?
It's good. I was gonna say, I'm like, oh, I had this specific thing. The main thing I wanted to talk to you about is the movie
Yeah.
you watched last night, but we don't have to get into that yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. Oh, I guess I do have one little fun thing we did yesterday. We went to this art museum nearby that's having
Ooh.
this exhibit called Myth and Marble, and it was
Oh.
a bunch of sculptures from like the Roman times. So that was
I
kind of cool.
love that.
And I don't. I have to like look into this because one of the plaques said I don't know if it being here in Texas was the first time that it's been in North America, this specific collection,
Whoa.
or if this collection is the first time that it's on tour and it's been in North America. But
Ah, that's so
anyway, it's
cool.
it's like the first time it's been over here, which is kind of cool. So
Oh, that's so cool. Was it, you said it was sculptures or it was paintings
yeah,
or?
it's all sculptures. And what was
Oh,
kind
that's
of cool
awesome.
about it, not kind of, it was very cool. So they had these diagrams under each sculpture or statue of like this section of it was like color coordinate or coded. And it was like this section is from the ancient times. Like this is
Mm.
original. This section has been like redone in
Oh.
modern times. So I mean, it's a full complete sculpture, but it kind of showed you which is like the original one and then which one restorers have fixed.
Whoa, that's so cool. Although I
Yeah.
am still an Egypt girly, very close second is like a Roman history girly. And it was
Yeah.
so cool to be had the opportunity again at this point, whoa, so long ago now, but to go to Italy and it was so crazy to walk around and be like, I don't know, I just feel like maybe it's just like America's not as old as like you know what I mean? Like it's like it feels so obvious, but then when you're there and you're like literally Caesar, like Caesar walked here. You're like, what? How is that real?
Yeah.
So that was so fun. So I love stuff like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
My other thing is your girl is waiting on Amazon because I had this idea and I wanted to show you and be like, look how cute my nails are, but they're not cute. They're boring right now because
Oh.
Amazon disappointed me. I have a feeling it's like long gone because, like, you know, like once it's like delayed, I'm like, yeah, this is gone. So I'm gonna
Oh.
have to figure this out. But I want to do. I know it's not Valentine's Day at this point in time in the world, but I saw this and this girl had these. They were pink nails and then she had red stripes and I loved it and I want to do it. I'm just like loving stripes recently. So I got those
Mhm.
very thin, or in theory, I got a very thin like nail brush or whatever. So I can
Okay.
like dip it
Mhm.
in and like create the stripes. So
Ooh.
my hope was to be like, ta-da! But no,
Aw.
alas.
Next
Alas,
well,
it's
not
just
next time
my
because 'cause we're
sad little
recording
nails.
tomorrow, but
It's supposed to come today. So if it does
maybe
come
then next time
today,
we record, you could show me.
right? I'll pop in and be like, ta-da! But okay, so we because you watched this in our most recent episode, you talked about you were excited to watch it. So do you want to talk
Yes.
about your experience first, and then I gave you some of my play by play, but I haven't finished the play by play. I was texting
Yes.
Larissa.
I'm so excited to talk about this. So, it's not like a full case file, but we are gonna talk about people we meet on vacation. Um, should we put in, spoiler timestamps just in case?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe like And if you're listening on audio, maybe hop forward, I don't know, 4 or 5-ish
Well,
minutes.
I'll put it in the description, Joy, when you're
Yeah, there we
editing.
go.
This
There we go.
future
There we go.
Joy, tell me the timestamps and I'll put it in the description.
Deal.
So
Deal.
that way you can because again, it just came out like a week ago. So if you haven't seen it, and or if you're planning to read and then see it, you've got time. But yes, I watched People We Made on Vacation. Like the second day it was out. I really liked it. I've seen kind of mixed reviews about it because, and
Mm.
Joy, I'm very curious as someone because you haven't read the book, right?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, because not the majority, but a lot of people I've seen liked it as a rom com, but not as a book to movie adaptation, which
Oh.
I did like it as an adaptation. I feel like for a couple different reasons. And to an extent, I can kind of see why people didn't like it as an adaptation, but I'm also like, I feel some people, some readers, and I can be this way too, they want like a scene for scene direct, like
Mm.
exactly how the book is. And I just, unless you're doing a mini series, it's very
Yeah.
hard
Just don't
to
have the
get
time.
it. Yeah, this was
Yeah.
2 hours, which I already kind of feels kind of long for a rom com. And this is a kind of a different format because you have to get all the history with the vacations into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they had to leave stuff out. They changed it. So like the main like current vacation, you know how in the movie it's in Barcelona, in the book it's in
Mm-hmm.
Palm Springs.
Oh,
So like
interesting.
there's some changes there which like they just couldn't get filming rights in Palm Springs, so they picked Barcelona, so it's like neither here
Ah.
nor there. Um so yeah, I didn't mind the changes really. I thought it was very cute, very sweet. It's very rom-commy, which I just feel like we
Yeah.
haven't got a
Very
lot
much
of good
so.
rom-coms lately. And then just like going into it, my expectations were literally on the floor
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
um I don't feel like we have had, like I said, we haven't had good rom-coms lately. And then there was an adaptation that came out last year for a book I really love called My Oxford Year, written by Julia Whalen.
Oh, I saw that. I didn't like see the movie, but I saw that. But it
Yeah.
was,
And
I heard no bueno.
it was so bad. Not even like as
Ugh.
a good rom-com. It was so bad that, not to hate on her, but she was not a good actress. I've seen a lot of people don't like her in a lot of stuff.
Oh, it just like wasn't a good
And
fit.
they changed, there was zero chemistry. They changed
Oh
so much,
no.
including the main character's name for some reason.
Oh. Oh. Yeah,
So
because that was gonna be
yeah.
one of my questions is like, was there a big change from the book to the movie in this that you liked? And was there a big change in the book to movie to the that you didn't like?
Yeah, I think that for me, there's a couple things. So one, and this is one that I've seen a lot of people kind of complain about, and I'm like, okay, I get why they had to take it out for the sake of time, but it is kind of important to the characters. So they included that Alex's mom dies in the movie, but
Yeah.
they don't say why. So she actually died in childbirth, not with Alex, but with
Oh.
one of his siblings. And so when she has the like pregnancy scare, like right before they like
That's
stop
why that hit
talking,
that way.
that well, and then so like he ends up getting a vasectomy because he's like all worried about, you know, losing
Mm.
someone he loves again in childbirth. And so I feel like that it was that would be hard to kind of move over the
Explain.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to
Yeah.
like get that across with like everything going on because you can
Mm-hmm.
take your time in the book. So I get why they had to take it out, but I feel like it's a very important part to both of their
It
stories.
adds another level for sure.
Yeah. And then I think and again, I knew that this wasn't going to be the case because you get, you know, it's only 2 hours, but the span of them and like today's vacation, today's summer is a little bit more of a slow buildup of them like liking each other again and falling in love again.
Um,
And so I feel like that was just a lot quicker in the movie. But
yeah.
again, that one didn't really bother me because like you only have 2 hours to cover a
Yeah.
lot of ground. So that was kind of like, oh, I wish there was like a little bit more build up, but I get why there wasn't. And like the whole
Mm.
like AC not working, that's like a problem for like a week. Like they're constantly dealing with this hotel because they actually get an Airbnb, which this also is kind of important too. Because she, you know, she works for that like travel company.
Mm-hmm.
So she ends up paying for her company doesn't pay for this trip. She pays for it herself, which is kind of a big deal.
Oh.
She doesn't tell Alex this. So she gets this Airbnb in Palm Springs. And so they're actually sharing a room and it's like really hot. And so they're kind of dealing with that and repairing their relationship at the same time.
Was anything taken out or like not had in the movie that you're kind of glad? Because maybe it was too long in the book, or maybe it didn't.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, yes. This is going to be my other point, but I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it first, but I'm fine to talk
Yeah,
about this
yeah,
part
yeah. I
first.
have my notes. They're like bullet point notes of like my
I
play by play.
love it. So like quote unquote the third act breakup, so like after they get together,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they did that way better in the movie than in the book. So in the book,
Mm.
it's more so they kind of
Like
get
when they're at the
together.
wedding?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the book, they like break up and don't see each other for a while. And it's more of she finds out after they're together that he broke up with Sarah because of Poppy. And they have that conversation before they're together in the movie. Again, we'll put the spoiler
Yeah.
timestamps.
Yeah.
So she kind of gets mad, like, "Oh, you didn't tell me that you broke up with Sarah." And then she just finds out other stuff about it. And it's been a minute since I've read the book, so readers, if I'm forgetting something, sorry. But I just feel like in the book, the third act breakup, which I'm not usually a fan of third act breakups typically, but it just dragged on a lot. And it just her being more hesitant to like fully commit to him and like,
Yeah.
oh, we're going to go to this small town. I'm going to be with you in this like, Ohio. I feel that I mean, that's part of it in the book, but I just feel they executed that third act breakup a lot better in the movie than they do in the book.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, let me flip over on me phone to
Yes.
me
Yeah.
notes.
So Joy was like texting me some, and then I was like, girl, I'm about to go to bed. So I was like, it just surprised me on the podcast tomorrow of your thoughts.
Okay, so my first note. So where we left off is like as soon as everything was about to
I know. I was like,
explode.
I don't want to go to bed, but I'm tired.
So they were in like they had just gotten to Tuscany, and that's where Larissa went to sleep.
Yeah.
So my very first note is Tuscany Aqua Taco. Because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is so awkward. Because like they had just were getting there, and it was like, oh, this isn't working. And then the guy being like, we have wanderlust. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
I
you're.
know that line.
I know. I was like, you're making this so weird. Um, I wrote pregnant, crazy, because I was like, really? And then I wrote almost kiss crazy because it's like clearly all of their emotions are building up, but I don't know. It was just also so interesting that she contacted him and said, like, I get
Yeah.
it, I guess, but I don't know. I just feel like it's meant to show the like confusion in their relationship.
Yeah. And
But
I think
I was
I
like,
could be
whoa.
wrong, but I think in the book, the like they actually do kiss and the pregnancy scare,
Oh.
but they're on two separate trips.
Oh, yeah,
So
because that
like
makes sense. Because they
in
were
the
like, "Oh, what happened in
yeah,
Tuscany? Can we ignore it?" And I'm like, "What happened in Tuscany?" Like,
yeah, in the book you get like every summer for like since they first met. So like in the
oh, so we
movie
skipped
they're
some
like
summers.
yeah.
Okay. Also, I mean, this is just a viewer not knowing the book. The people we meet on vacation, I feel like confused me more so walking into the movie.
That's the same in the book too. The explanation in the book is really dumb. I don't It's the
Okay.
worst title ever.
Because I was like, I thought the plot was they met each other on vacation. And I get it now. And I'm like, I don't have like a good title like to whip out and be like, ta da. But
Yeah,
it
it's
confused
a
me.
horrible title. The explanation in the book, it's kind of the same, but it's basically just like, oh, the people that you meet on vacation like impact you. And like in the movie,
But
I feel
like
like
they're
they try to
not.
make it more of like they are the people on
Yeah,
vacation,
yeah.
but that's not how it's really described in the book. And so yeah, Emily Henry's books are just never really titled
Yeah. Like
correctly.
once I got to the end, I felt like the title made sense, but I'm like, I
Nah,
don't,
it's okay.
yeah, okay,
It's
good. That's
confusing.
good to know because I was like, I am confuzzled walking into this.
Yeah.
Um, oh, and then he proposed to his girlfriend. I wrote, she said yes, gasp. Like, that's crazy that
Yeah.
you're just like, okay, fine, I guess I'm getting engaged to this other girl. And I wrote this in the notes, lol, in my text message to you before you went to sleep. But I'm like, that would stink being their significant others during this whole time, especially his significant others,
Yeah.
because I feel like she wasn't aware because like he was like at the end when he's like, "How long do you love me?" She's like, "Probably forever." Like I feel like she wasn't aware that she loved him, but he was
Yeah.
definitely aware he loved her. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, "Ooh," like, but again,
And
if I don't know.
yeah, and I was gonna say that's kind of the one thing in the book that I think it's a little bit better is because so they are on and off the whole time, and it's a
Ah,
little bit more so one of Alex's biggest insecurities is that he's boring. He thinks he's boring, but that Poppy
mm,
still, even though they're opposites, she doesn't mind that. She likes that about him. And so Sarah actually breaks up with Alex at one point because he's too boring. And so there's
ah,
that like tension of like, oh, but Poppy doesn't think I'm boring. And then they actually both work. Sarah and Alex in the book both teach at the same school. So they are around each other a lot. So I think that's why they keep getting back together, breaking up because they're just like,
like in the same orbit,
yeah,
basically. Like since
yeah.
you're
And
here.
so, and he's like, okay,
Oh,
well,
that makes more sense.
Poppy was never going to live here, but Sarah will. And so I think it's more of like him settling because she's
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. So one of the things I did like in the movie, and I would hope is in the book, is I liked that they did clarify. Again, like hopping more towards the end because I feel like I got so engrossed I stopped taking notes for a bit because I
I
was like,
get
"What's gonna
that.
happen?" Um, but when Sarah and Poppy see each other at the airport, I like that Sarah basically said like, "I thought it was you, but then you did leave, and then I realized it wasn't you." Because like it just shows that they had their own issues separate. Ice machine. They had their
Oh,
own issues
I was like, did you
separate.
get a dog?
I know, right? No, I was trying to cause detectives. Okay, like I don't know, sidestep moment. I wanted a Fanta, and so I was like, I'm gonna have my Fanta and my ice, and that's gonna be my fancy drink. And then there was no ice, so
Oh,
just
you
having
can go
Fanta.
grab some if you want. We
I know
can take
that's
a
that's like the
pause.
first drop of ice. Oh, it's funny. Um, but I like that they decided and like between the two of them to break up because obviously like it was for Poppy, but it also wasn't like especially
Yeah.
on Sarah's side. It was just because
Yeah.
they just weren't gonna make sense at all. Oh, and they were okay, but his house though, I was like, oh, his house is so nice.
Yeah.
And then I had a question. So it looked like at the very like last scene, they did move to New York. Am I
Yeah,
losing
and,
it?
like, no, that's I feel like that's how it is, and I can't remember in the book, which is bad because 'cause I'm like I've read it twice, and I can't remember where they end up. I can go grab it, it's on my shelf, and because I can't remember now in the book if they move to New York or if they stay in Ohio, I honestly can't remember.
Right? Because that's what
Um,
confused me. Because I'm like, his whole thing. Well, she did mention once that weren't you going to move to New York and do that? And he was like, oh, I don't know.
yeah.
And then they're like the settling and all that. But he also loves his hometown.
Yeah.
And so I was like, for her to be like, okay, fine, we can get together, but then like you have to, I don't know. That kind of was like a little odd to me, but also it kind of showed that she brought him out of his shell. So I'm like, I don't know, I don't know. But I did like it though.
Okay, here's oh, yeah, they're in New York. It's an epilogue. We take a bus tour of the city. We wear our matching I Heart New York sweatshirts and bedazzled Big Apple hats.
So is that like they're going on another vacation to New York? Because they had like a whole on apartment. They were like, we live here now.
No, they move here there.
Interesting.
But I think that's kind of the compromise because oh, maybe not because this says oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, they do move because she says, I'll leave a key for Rachel to water our plants, and after Sweden, we'll fly straight back to Linfield for the rest of Alex's summer break.
Okay, so they do fly basically in between hometown and New York. They
Yeah.
split their time.
Yeah, she says, we'll try it on our hometown the same way we've been trying on New York together. We'll see how it fits where we want to be. So it's kind of like
Oh, okay.
maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
That's
that's
more
why
of
I
an
couldn't
actual
remember because it was
compromise.
kind of unclear. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, did you like it?
I did. I did like
Okay,
it.
good.
I felt like it
Good.
was good. It was very rom-commy. I liked their chemistry. They were believable. Only like once or twice. I, and again, it's gotta be so hard to do, but it's very hard once you are like, oh, this is a movie. Like I like being so sucked into it that I forget that they're acting. So once or
Yeah.
twice it got kicked out of it a little bit. But I would say for the most part, I was like in it and they were very believable. So I liked it.
Yay. I'm glad.
Yay! Okay, that was like the longest catch up ever.
I know. That was like a whole like mini episode on
I
People We
know.
Meet, which is funny because well, this will be a good segue. So obviously, People We Meet is very much a friends to lovers, but
Yeah.
today we're doing enemies to lovers,
Dun dun dun.
which is like I don't mind that necessarily as a trope, but I feel like at least in books, and I think that's even the case with our case files, it's not necessarily that they're enemies. Maybe they're just more like annoyances or rivals. I feel like it's very
Yeah.
rare when you get like true enemies that become lovers, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Because also, again, if I dislike you that much, like unless I
Right.
realize how wrong I am about you, but if you're just kind of an annoyance to me, then I feel like it can be like, oh, okay, I just
Yeah.
misunderstood. But
Which we, real quick before you get
yeah,
into
yeah,
it, there is another connecting
yeah.
theme in both of ours. And we were trying so hard to think of like another
I know. Speaking of
episode
titles,
title for it, but we just couldn't. So there's something with 10 there for both of us as a little
yeah,
hint, hint, if you can guess. But Joy's up
yeah.
first, so I'll let you go ahead.
I am up first. That's so funny. Throwing stones in the glass house for the poor little Emily, and we're like 10 something something. I
Exactly.
don't know. My case file is 10 things I hate about you, and you've seen this one, right?
For the first time last year, actually. So
Okay,
it's
okay.
fresh. Well, not fresh, but I have only seen it one time.
Ooh, okay. I would say it's a classic. 1999 is when it came out, and it is one of those movies that's like a 90s or early 2000s. I mean, I guess we're having that even now with movies coming out, but it's an adaptation of Shakespeare. So this is based off of, like loosely off of Taming of the Shrew, which is crazy
Mhm.
because the Shrew is the Julia Child, LOL, Julia Stiles character. And so I'm like, what? She just gets called a shrew? That feels so rude, you know?
Aw.
I'm like, come up with a better name. Speaking of names again. But so the whole plot basically is Julia Stiles plays oh my word, my brain just totally blanked on her character. Kate, Cat,
Cat.
Kate or Cat, Cat. Yeah.
Cat.
Oh my goodness, my brain. Julia Stiles plays Cat, who is headstrong, and it's a high school movie, so she's headstrong. She's very like anti-popular, meaning she's kind of like the cool outsider. You know what I mean? Like we're meant to
Yeah.
believe that. She has a sister, Bianca, who's the popular, younger, more I would say naive, but it's not like in any bad way. She's just more optimistic maybe about the
Yeah.
world.
That's a good way to describe it.
And the plot is based around the fact that Bianca wants to date, but she can't date until Kat dates.
Which just
And
feels like a weird
I know.
premise rule. I know it's
I
because
know.
the dad's like, oh, well, she'll never date. But then it's like, it's a weird
I
premise.
know. And it's honestly the cast is baller. Like everybody in
Truly.
it is so good. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he's the younger and he wants to date Bianca, but he has to come up with something. Bianca wants to date a guy that Kat used to date. So it's I feel like it's really good, and the screenplay of it is I think this is so cool because it is what are their names? Karen McCullen and Kristen Smith. Probably said those names wrong, but it is written by two women who also they wrote Legally Blonde together, the first Legally Blonde. They wrote another case file as well, Ella Enchanted.
Oh, yeah.
They also wrote She's the Man, which is another adaptation of a Shakespeare,
Yeah. So
and then
good.
House Bunny, which
Oh.
right?
I've never seen that one.
Oh, that was funny. Oh, House Bunny. It's like one of the things, and I did that very poorly, but I was too excited to say it correctly. So they're really good with the like very witty humor. I feel like one of the big things that they talked about is they didn't want it to be at the time. It felt like sometimes in the 90s there'd be like a high school movie, but they would kind of be like talking down to the high schoolers, if that makes sense, or like the high schoolers would be dumb and wouldn't really get it, and that was one of the things, which is so funny. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt was one of the first actors to sign on to the movie, but
Mhm.
even so, at the very beginning, before he signed on, there's interviews of him, and he's like 17 or something like that when he is playing this character. I think he's supposed to be playing about a 15-year-old because he's supposed to be playing the younger one. but he's like, I wanted to be a serious actor. And so he was like very particular about like, I don't want dumb lines. I don't want to just like have all
Oh.
these goofy things. I want this to be like a fun but more serious role. And so it's funny too because he does have good lines, and that was one of the things that they were really focused on was the writing. Even though at some point it's like, what is it? What she say? Take head out of sphinxter, then drive. And I'm like, that's so funny. Um, but it's also things too where they'll have references to Taming of the Shrew in kind of the Shakespearean type. Her best friend in the movie is obsessed with Shakespeare, and then obviously the main character, like the main character plays opposite of Julius Stiles, is Heath Ledger, who
Yeah.
just is so perfect for this role. I feel like he does this so well. And it was so fun because I didn't realize this, but again, they're all about 17 or 18. This was pretty much everybody's first kind of like main leading role or main movie. It was the first
Mhm.
movie the director ever directed.
Oh, wow.
The two writers, this was their first big movie. And so it really feels like the first go out of the gate for everybody. They all had like like not off screen, but like the actors all had that very excited optimism for it, and they really just
Mhm.
hung out all the time. Julia Stiles is in an interview saying there was no bad apples, so it's like everybody just hung out, everybody had a good time. um, and so a lot of the things that were talked about Heath Ledger was basically the director talking about how when Heath Ledger walked in, like the words that he used was he's a movie star who's very magnetic, and then
Mhm.
wow, this guy is special. And I think that's so
Aw.
fun because it just he really is perfect for the role, to be honest. And so is Julia Stiles, but they both were one of the later, I believe, roles that were cast because it was very
Mhm.
hard to find actors that could be like, I think it was over 200 people that were seen specifically for Heath Ledger's role because he had to be kind of standoffish but very charismatic, kind of aloof but also very believable and charming. And it's just, yeah, it's very cool that he, being his first role, did so many different iconic things. Like he actually is singing in the scene where he's running up and down the stairs. That is him
Oh,
singing,
wow.
which is
Yeah.
fun. Took about 30 takes, he said, to do
Oh my
that. So
gosh.
that is wild. And that school, it's one of those things again where you watch it and I'm like, oh, movie magic. No, that school exists, which is so
Yeah. I
cool.
feel like that used to be more of the case of in high school movies, like high school, even High School Musical films in a real high
Yeah.
school. And I mean, I don't think they make that many high school movies now, but I just don't feel like they use real places as much as they used to.
Yeah, or they'll use like the front of a place and then that'll be basically it. But the director was very specific because they were going to film in LA, but he was nervous that it was going to be very closely associated and compared to Clueless because Clueless is so very
Oh,
LA.
yeah.
And so they were just going to film the outside locations somewhere else. So he's like, okay, let me just like pick Seattle and just go there. And then he found this school and was like, okay, well, 3 weeks out from shooting this movie, we are going to move it to Seattle.
Oh,
And so
wow.
then they just moved the entire production to Seattle, which is cool. Um, and then Gabriella, who plays Bianca's best friend, she was 26, which is
Wow.
crazy pants. It would like I wrote that down because it felt like it was giving very
Greece.
no
Because in Greece, they're like all old.
oh
Like they're
my,
in
they're
their
like 40.
30s. Yeah, they're old.
Yeah. I was thinking Lane vibes, like Gilmore Girls Lane.
Oh, yeah. She was a lot older too.
Yeah, she was closer to Lauren Graham's age than Alexis's age, like at the very beginning, but
Yeah.
like you would never guess that. So, also, random side fun fact is there is one of the times in this where Gabrielle is wearing a kind of a tank top. It's got kind of got like a Buddha type thing on it. It's yellow and bluish. And that is Cusco, Barcelona. And that is in so many random different things. Like for some reason, those like 3 or 4 years, there's like 6 different movies that
Oh,
all
wow.
have that outfit in it.
Interesting.
Phoebe and Friends wears Cusco, Barcelona. Lorelai wears that in Gilmore Girls, to speak of that again. So it's like a very fun and funky outfit. I just think it's so
Yeah.
cool. And then so in the iconic scene where she is reading the list of the 10 things that I hate about you, it was very close to the end of filming. And
Hmm.
so it wasn't actually in the script to have her cry. reading that.
Mm.
But she was just so taken back by this was so fun and it's coming to an end
Oh,
and
that's
I'm so
special.
sad. Yeah, and it was the first
Oh,
take apparently.
wow.
I
I
know.
bet
And
Heath is like, man, my big scene I could have been in one take. I had to do it 30
I know I had to run up and down these stairs. Um,
times.
but it was crazy too because the director was talking about he said so this is a quote from him is it came so natural. Oh, as soon as I said the quote, it kicked off my thing. Hold on, let me find it back
Aw.
again. TV problems. So it said it came so natural. She wasn't meant to cry. She was 17, and it brought the whole crew to tears. So like
Aw.
he was behind the camera. He's like I had to cover my mouth because he's like I was just crying because
That's
she just
so
like
sweet.
broke the
Aw.
whole crew, which I was like,
Yeah.
oh. Um, and speaking of titles, again, wow, we're just talking about titles so many times. 10 Things I Hate About You was the original title, which I feel like is
Hmm.
unheard of. Where normally it's like we'll have
Yeah.
this working title and then we do other
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, my favorite. So the reason I find it cozy, I always forget to talk about that. But the reason that I find it cozy is I just really think it has that 90s like almost early 2000s type of a feel. It's very cozy. I like that you see each of the characters grow and kind of bloom in their own different ways. And I really do love the practicality of the scenes. Like probably my favorite scene is when they have the it's not like a water balloon, it's like the paint balloon fight
Oh, yeah.
between Patrick and Kate. So they're or Kat. So they're throwing the balloons back and forth, and it's just like it seems so fun. I feel like again, like you can really feel through the screen that everybody's just really enjoying their time on this filming set.
Yeah.
And so that is 10 Things I Hate About You.
So fun.
Woohoo!
So fun. All right. So my 10 case file, my enemies to lovers, is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So, so iconic. And there's a few iconic things that I'm excited to talk about. But
Ooh,
this came out in 2003. It's a rom-com starring Kate Hudson. She plays Andy Anderson. Great
so
name.
good. So good.
And Matthew McConaughey as Benjamin Barry. It was directed by Donald Petrie, I think that's how you say it. And then the screenplay was written by Kristen Buckley, Brian Reagan, and Burr Steers. And there was this kind of funny when I was doing my research. So I on the Wikipedia it just said it's loosely based on a picture book. So in my head, I'm like,
Oh,
a
like
kid's
a
book?
children's?
What? So doing further investigation, it's more of an illustrated guide on like the don'ts of dating. So it's like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Mm,
So the title also was the original one. But that's really the only thing they got from the book is more of like the title and it's like about dating. Because there's
gotcha,
like no
gotcha.
narrative. It's just these like, this is what you shouldn't do on a date.
Hmm.
Um, but this is like a fun little like Easter egg that they put into the movie. So the authors of the that book are Michelle and Jeannie, and those are the names of Andy's friends in the movie.
Oh,
Yeah, so I thought that was
fun.
really cool.
Love that.
And so speaking of Michelle, I'll get into the plot in a second, but I wanted to talk about one of the friends who's played by Catherine Hahn. And you were talking about first, this was her first role too, um,
Whoa.
which is just so funny because I mean, she's a side character, but I think she's just so funny in
Yeah,
this movie. And then
yeah.
she obviously went on to be this like really great famous actress. But there was a funny story. So Kate was already cast, and so they were doing like chemistry readings for friends or whatever. And
Mhm.
so Catherine Hahn is reading her lines or like saying her lines, and her cell phone goes off, but she like worked that into her as her character was
Nice.
answering it. So Kate, in an interview, was saying she's a comedic star, is like how she referred to Catherine Hahn of like she's going to be big, and obviously she was. And then they actually reunited in, I forgot that they were both in the second Knives Out Glass Onion.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. And then, because of just a fun story, not related to my movie, but on that one, they said in an interview together, because it's like a big ensemble, like A-list cast,
Yeah.
and they would play Mafia on the roof, like after filming.
Oh my word, love.
Yeah, isn't that
Oh my,
so
that's so
cool?
fun.
Right? So getting into the plot, so Kate Hudson's character Andy, she works for Composure magazine, so it's a fictional magazine. In the movie, long live rom-com journalist. I was so excited
I
because, like,
know.
obviously in the book, Poppy is a journalist, like she's a writer, and I'm like, ah, bringing back that
Mm.
rom-com profession. I love it.
So true. So many
And
early
then
2000s.
right? It's like, I wanted to work for a magazine when I was a kid,
Same.
but, Kate actually spent a day with Anna Wintour, for, like,
Whoa.
magazine research, which I thought was kinda cool cool because obviously we talked about Devil Wears Prada and how Anna obviously was distanced from that because it's kind of,
Yeah.
based on her, but it was kinda cool that she was a part of this one. But the character Andy, she doesn't really want to write like fluff anymore. She wants to write these like really serious pieces,
Yeah.
but her boss won't let her because it's like a fashion magazine and she's like we can't write about politics and religion and all of that stuff. So that's
Which
kind
also
of where
kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I kind of get it because
right.
it's not what the
It's
reader is coming to this magazine for. So
yeah.
I'm like, you know.
And then Matthew McConaughey's character Ben works in advertising, and he wants to get in charge of this big diamond account called Delaware. So that's like where they are in the world. And so basically they both kind of sign up for quote unquote a bet. Ben's is more of a bet. Andy is gonna work on a piece called How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days because Michelle keeps getting dumped. And so Andy kind of wants to write
So
about like
good.
all the mistakes that her friend is making in relationships of like what not to do, but actually like do that with a guy and then write about it. And so then Ben's boss is like, okay, you can get this diamond account if you can make a woman fall in love with you in 10 days. And
Yep.
so his competitors pick out the woman and they pick Andy because they met her earlier in the day
Yep.
and heard about this piece. So they're like, oh, perfect. She's going to make his life
Hee
miserable.
hee hee
And
hee.
so it's just like, really, again, talk about a ridiculous premise. It's so
It's
ridiculous,
so
but it's
good.
so fun.
I love
So,
her. You let
like,
it die. Are you gonna let us
which I actually have a funny story about that
die?
scene,
Oh,
we'll
Lord,
get
love.
to it. So yeah, it's literally like she's trying to annoy him, he's trying
Yeah.
to woo her, and so they're like at odds the whole time, and it's just so funny. But like
It's so
meanwhile,
good.
they're secretly falling in love.
Wahahaha.
um so the first like iconic thing I want to talk about is the yellow dress because how could I not? Like
Yeah.
this dress, and it's so funny because Kate talked about it. She didn't keep it, which I feel so sad for her.
Shame.
But she was like obviously it's that wasn't ever like that's like her most recognizable
Oh yeah.
outfit from any of her movies, I feel. And it's like that's not something that they could have predicted being that iconic. But it was designed by Carolyn Herrera along with the costume designer for the movie, Karen Patch. And
Mm.
they actually had like three different color choices that they were
Whoa.
going for. It was a mossy green, a midnight blue, and then that pale yellow. And they ended up picking the yellow, A, because it looks really good on Kate, but then it also goes with the diamond that she wears in that scene.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the diamond was an actual real diamond. It was worth almost $6 million.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And they said that there was an estimated $14 million worth of jewels like featured in the movie. And they had like
Whoa.
actual bodyguards the day that they were filming that scene,
Those
like
like weren't
playing,
actors.
but they were like playing bodyguards in the movie. Like there
Yeah.
was an interview with Matthew McConaughey. They were like, "Oh yeah, there's bodyguards," and he's like, "I didn't see any bodyguards," and they were like, "I think they were like in the movie."
Wow, that's wild. I would have never thought
Yeah.
that's real. That was like so to me comedically big. I was like, there's no way that's a real
No,
anything.
it
Like,
was real. Yeah.
whoa, that's wild.
Yeah, and then, you talked about, like, the love fern.
I love
You
it.
let it die! So
Let
that wh a
us
lot of scenes, in particular that one, were, like, heavily improved.
die.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, so I think it kind of also just speaks to the chemistry that, Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey had, which I'll get into a little bit more in a second. But you know, when they're playing poker and she like tosses the
Yeah.
veggie tray, that was all improvised, and they all like freaked out like it naturally because they're like, why are there carrot sticks flying around?
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yeah.
She was that where she goes like yucky yucky cigarettes, yummy yummy, and I can't think of what she like tries to shove in their mouths. Oh, it's
Yeah,
so
I
good.
think it's celery. And then
Yeah.
she's like, blow with the tissue. No
Oh
one thinks of
yeah.
Mr. Sniffles.
It's
It's like
so
it's
good.
so ridiculous, but it's so funny. And then so Matthew's character actually rides a motorcycle
Hmm.
throughout the movie. There's several scenes. There's actually a cute scene. Like, so they go, Michelle plays their therapist to like try
So
to
good.
help speed up the breaking up. And he's like, no,
Hmm.
I'm going to do couples therapy to work on us. And so they end up going to Ben's um parents' house, and that's where they like really fall in love because she's like completely
Yeah.
normal and like, oh, he sees like the real her again. And they like ride the motorcycle together. But when he read the script, Matthew McConaughey was like, I'm getting a motorcycle so I don't look like a fool driving this thing around. So a lot of the scenes is like actually him like driving the motorcycle, which I thought was kind of cool.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Which is wild
Um
because while watching it at the end, when he's like, again, spoilers, but early 2000s, when he's like chasing and he like hits the like taxi window with his one, I
yeah.
even in the moment watching that, I was like, that is so dangerous.
Right. I don't think like that part is him, but
But that's
the scene where he
crazy.
like pulls up the like
Oh yeah.
helmet, he
Hmm.
was actually like driving the motorcycle at the time for that, which
Ah,
I thought
that's
was kind of cool.
awesome.
And then speaking of their chemistry, so Kate Hudson did an interview last year with Vanity Fair,
Mm,
and it was like overall about a lot of her movies, but specifically on this one, she described that she and Matthew were just like really similar. They have this like big energy. She said they had the
yeah.
same joie de vivre. They're both very competitive, very flirtatious. And she said that women have big loves in their life and actresses have big movie loves of their life. And she said that Matthew
Mm.
McConaughey was a big love in her life. So I thought that was kind of
Whoa.
cute and
That's also
sweet, but
kind of
also I'm like,
like
mm-hmm.
I know. That's kind of a throwback to last week because I feel like in a lot of Diane Keaton's movies too,
Mm-hmm.
she would connect so strongly with them that like even like at one point Keanu Reeves is in a movie with her and it's like, oh, that was kind of like
Yeah.
passing in the night or what I don't know, phrasing like that.
Yeah.
But like one of those type of things. So I
Right.
could see
Yeah.
it. I could see it. I
Yeah.
could see
And
it.
then I was also just going to finish because it's also kind of cool. There's so much that I think our movies have in common that you wouldn't think about when you first think of these. But mine also has
Yeah.
a really iconic musical moment too. And so they are both pretty drunk and they are singing You're So Vain by Carly Simon at each
Oh
other.
yeah.
And so that's also both of them just like
Yeah.
singing that. But obviously they had to sing live, but it was kind of funny because um, they were like, well, that was in character. So we had to sound bad.
Like I don't
um,
really sing like that.
Yeah, and then Kate Hudson in an interview was like, "Oh, we're just really grateful for Carly Simon for letting us butcher her song like that because they like change
Oh
the lyrics and they're like
yeah.
arguing with each other." And it's so funny too because like I can't hear that song without like some of the
100%.
changes in it, like when
Yep.
she says the like um you'd be Ben's partner, you be
Yeah.
Ben's part like, that's how like, sing the song and everything, it's so good,
Yep,
but
yep. Did they
that
so
is
one of
oh,
the,
go ahead.
like so one of the small things also, that I didn't mention about the 10 things I hate about you is
Mhm,
at first they were going to dub over Heath Ledger to, like, have, like, his voice, like, sound, quote, unquote, like, better or whatever, and the
mhm.
director really fought to keep that as
Oh,
Heath
I love that.
Ledger's voice. Was
Yeah.
that something that in your research came up at all about that, or was it because it was kind of that, like, back and forth very quick,
Yeah,
it was like, "This
it
is gonna
was
be them."
all it was already, I think, always gonna be them because it's supposed to be them sounding bad because it's like
Yeah.
I mean, they even commented of like, "Oh, drunken tone deaf is like the worst combination," and it's just
Yeah, yeah,
supposed to be like it's really so that song happens right after they both find out that the other's been lying and has this bet, and it's so funny because they're both so mad, and I'm like, "But you're doing the exact same thing,
yeah.
like you're
Yep,
both
yep.
faking this relationship," but anyway, so they get on stage and they're just like destroying the song. They're like drunkenly singing at each other off key, and
That's so
it's so
funny.
iconic.
It's so
And
good.
she's
There's
in the
so
yellow
many
dress
lines in
too.
that.
I know, I love it.
One
I
of the
can
other
quote it
lines I
so
always
well.
say, whenever I'm eating with like a plastic fork, my brain goes, "My boyfriend thinks I'm fat," and I always want to like fling the food. It's like my intrusive
Oh
thoughts.
yeah, and when they're like at the like vegan restaurant.
That's exactly it. Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep. And then like the waitress looks like horrified, and he's like, and then she like goes and eats the hot dog in the kitchen.
Yeah, watching the game. It's so
Yeah,
good.
that's so good. Wait, what's one of
Uh,
some of your favorite parts about the movie? Like, do you have a specific
oh, I
line
yeah,
or something?
I oh, um I it's so funny. I don't know why this line is one that we quote all the time, but you know when they're like coming up with the like, oh, frosting.
Oh,
And the boss is
frost
like, ladies,
this.
yeah, they're like, ladies of New York, frost yourselves. And we say that
Yeah.
all the time for like no reason.
Oh my gosh, I say the other
Um
line where the lady yells back, "Frost this."
oh yeah, we always whoever says it, the other one usually goes, frost this.
That's so good. I kind of want to
um
watch that movie now because I obviously like
yeah.
rewatched a lot of mine to be like, okay, the clips and all of that. But I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
this
I need
one's
to.
so good.
So good.
Um, and then I like too the scene where she like tricks him to thinking they're going to a next game, but it's a Celine Dion concert, and she's
Yeah,
like, she brings it up and brings it down.
that's so good. They're like walking out, and then like all the
Yeah,
Knicks fans are like walking the opposite way.
yeah,
It's so
it's and they're in
good.
their like matching t-shirts.
Yeah, yeah.
So
There's another
good.
one where she's talking about like, do you think he thinks it's grass? Because
Oh,
it,
the equals.
let it be. It was so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh man. I know.
good
I didn't
movies,
even
good
I've seen this
movies.
some movie so many times, so I didn't even watch it to prep, and now like talking about I'm like, I need to watch it.
I know. It's like specifically those like few scenes where she's just driving him crazy. But I love also, I'm really glad that they have this part in there because it's very much so like, okay, she is aware she's putting on a front. Because when she gets in the elevator and then she's just like, she kind of like giggles at herself, like, wow, that was so stupid.
Yeah, and then
Like,
he comes in and she's like, "Oh
yeah.
my god."
Yeah. Yeah. But I just feel like it's something too where it's like, yeah, she's very aware that she's overacting this to try to be like, just break up with me already. Like, if you could just be done with this. So, good times, good times.
Yeah.
Okay, you first for the 2%.
Okay. So I talked about a couple episodes ago how I'm trying to be a Kindle girly, and that's been
Yeah.
going well so far. But something that I like to do when I'm reading my Kindle, in the evenings, I found, well, I didn't find it, someone recommended. It's a playlist on Spotify called Jazz for Reading, and it's
Ooh.
so nice and chill. I found this. Her name is Julie. She runs, I think she recently changed her Substack name, but I think this is still her name on Instagram, the Friday Night Readers. She does like a Rory
Mm.
Gilmore reading challenge. And so she was talking about it, and it's a really just like cozy, chill playlist. It runs for nine
Nice.
hours, so like I'll put it on
Whoa.
at work and like be good for the day. So yeah, that's my 2%.
Ooh, fun. I love that because I feel like because it doesn't have any lyrics or anything in
No,
it.
yeah, it's all just
Yeah.
music. And it's not some jazz, it's like, oh, we're upbeat. It's like the coziest, chillest jazz ever.
Ooh, yes. Okay. I like that. I like that for the mornings because sometimes in the mornings it's like I'm slowly waking up. And then if like
Yeah.
something like just comes in too hot, I'm like, ugh, ugh.
Yeah. What about you?
But speaking of mornings, mine's kind of like, I don't know how I would possibly get a photo of this. Maybe it's just like my failed bread. But I started doing
Aw,
this thing in the morning where I'm calling it like my morning side quest.
cute. That's fun.
And so it's kind of helpful in my brain because sometimes if it feels like I'm not like on task and getting to it, it's like, especially during the work week, I can kind of like feel guilty about it.
Mhm.
But if I reframe it like this is just my side quest for the day, it's like
Yeah.
more fun. And then even things like in the afternoon. So like yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go on a side quest. So it was just like, that's fine. And I feel like that's really helped me just to reframe some of the things because again, like one of the reasons I feel like as adults our days just blend all together is because
Yeah.
there's nothing that's like mixing it up. It's just kind of like a rinse and repeat type of a day.
Yeah. So you're really adding
Whereas,
some whimsy.
yeah, exactly. Because that's been a big focus of mine this year is to add some whimsy and have fun with it and like paint the nails or do the thing. And yeah, just adding, I mean, obviously it's the 2% cozy of it all pretty much, but
Right.
it's just how many 2% can I add in that just like make me smile throughout the day.
I
So
love
I'm calling
that.
it side quests because I enjoy
Cute.
it.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
All right. I've got two from our cozy detectives,
Yay.
and I may have picked both of them out to put together because they both talked about some of my favorite books, and I was like, wow, I love
Ooh.
it. S. O'Rourke 19 has been reading a lot of romance novels and recently finished Just for the Summer in One Day, which that is the book that happens after yours truly. So I was
Oh.
like, ugh, yes, love it. And then Pramani 21 recently restarted Red, White, and Royal Blue to tandem read with audio and physical book. Another that's like one of my like
And
all
even a
time top.
tandem read.
Yeah, which I love doing too. And I've done that with that book too, even. And that's like in my top 5 books. So I was like, wow, I love them.
A little
So
reading 2%. Yeah, I like it.
yeah. So
I
I'm
like
like,
it. I like it.
maybe we should start a little Blanket Fort Files book club.
Even just like a read along with, you know what I mean? It's just something fun.
Yeah, it would be
I don't
so
know.
fun. We'll have to think on it.
I know my
But
brain's like, hmm.
how can we do it? Well, thank you for listening. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Blanket Fort Files Pod. Send us your 2% cozier and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Join us next week in the Blanket Fort where we'll discuss the coziness of some Cinderella adaptations.
Yay! Not 100% my favorite princess, but my favorite adaptations for sure.
Ooh, good to know.
I know. Spoilers.